This image is a bird from our next video. Let us know in the comments below if you can name the species. In this episode, we explore the foothills from about 500 meters, 1,500 feet, to about 1,500 meters, 4,500 feet. Situated in the Central Valley, the capital city of San Jose is where most international visitors arrive. Close to the city, we quickly found the squirrel cuckoo. This large and long-tailed cuckoo is common and widespread in gardens, forest edges, and second growth. The rufous-tailed hummingbird is the most abundant hummingbird to be encountered in human-altered habitats, such as gardens, parks, and second-growth woodlands. Situated along the northern Caribbean slope, the Laguna del Lagarto Lodge near Boca Tapeta is a great place to study the abundant parrots. The rather chunky brown-hooded parrot and can typically be found foraging in a canopy of humid forests and forest edges. The white-crowned parrot is common in humid forests, forest edges, and gardens. The big white crown patch and white throat are distinctive on distant birds. The red-lored parrot is a fairly large, bright green parrot that is common in forest edges and semi-open areas with scattered tall trees and forest patches. The collared aracari is a small toucan, common in mature wet forests, forest edges, and gardens with fruit trees. Located further south along the Caribbean slope, the Sarapiqui region offers abundant lodging and accessible rainforests, with abundant trails. The unusual and elegant-looking sunbittern is uncommon near rivers, streams, and ponds in protected forests. This bird appears to be part bittern, heron, and grebe, all mixed into one. The social flycatcher is very common and widespread in semi-open areas with trees, gardens, and along streams. The gray-capped flycatcher is common in forest edge, second growth, and gardens. It is similar to the social flycatcher, but lacks the striped head pattern. The odd-looking long-billed gnat wren is common, but easily overlooked, as it forages in vine tangles and dense thickets, at forest edges along the Pacific and Caribbean slopes. The large, conspicuous, and noisy band-backed wren is fairly common in forest edges and gardens along the Caribbean slope. The palm tanager is common and widespread in areas with palm trees, open shrubbery areas, and gardens. The pale-eyed, dusky-faced tanager is fairly common in forests along the Caribbean slope of Costa Rica. It is usually found in small, noisy flocks, often joined by other species. The red-throated ant tanager is fairly common in the understory of tropical forests along the Caribbean slope. The buff-throated saltator is common in forest edges, brushy areas with scattered trees, and gardens in the lowlands and foothills of Costa Rica. The black-cowled oreo inhabits forest edges, second growth, and gardens along the Caribbean slope. The Scarlet-rumped Cacique is found in mature forests, forest edges, and second growth woodlands. The scarlet rump, visible in flight, is typically concealed on perch birds like the one shown. The centerpiece of the Arenal Volcano National Park is a 5,437 feet, 1,657 meters Arenal volcano. Lake Arenal is located at the base of the volcano. The area is popular with birders, and we were not disappointed by what we found during our visit. The large and fairly shy red-billed pigeon is fairly common in open forests, patchy farmland, and mangroves. At Arenal Lake, we found this elegant-looking northern jacana. The extremely long toes enable it to walk with ease on lily pads and other floating vegetation. The tiny violet-headed hummingbird has a short straight bill and a bold white spot behind the eye. Although it is fairly common in forest areas and edges, it is most often seen visiting flowers and gardens. The bronze-tailed plumeteer is a medium-sized hummingbird with diagnostic pinkish red feet. It is uncommon in humid forest, forest edges, and second growth along the Caribbean slope. The tiny insect-like black-crested coquette is uncommon and infrequently seen as it nectars on small flowers high up in the forest canopy. It can also be found visiting flower gardens, such as this individual. Formerly known as the chestnut-mandibled toucan, the yellow-throated toucan is a large and conspicuous common bird of the forest areas and gardens with fruit trees. The Slaty-tailed Trogon is common in humid forests, forest edges, and gardens. This is the only trogon in Costa Rica with no white on the undertail. The large and impressive lineated woodpecker is fairly common in semi-open areas with tall trees, mangroves, and other lightly wooded areas. With its two elongated tail feathers, the long-tailed tyrant is a distinctive flycatcher. It is fairly common along the Caribbean slope in forest clearings and gardens. The plump and tiny scaled-crested pygmy tyrant is common in humid forests, forest edges, and tall second growth. The distinct feature is its rufous crown with black spots, which is rarely raised to a crest. The large and conspicuous white-throated magpie jay is common in forests and semi-open areas with large trees along the Pacific slope. The small stub-tailed white-breasted wood wren is very common in the understory of humid tropical forests. The unmistakable crimson-collared tanager is fairly common along the Caribbean slope, in forest edges and second-growth woodland. The red-legged honeycreeper is common in forests, forest edges, second-growth woodland, and gardens. This image is of a male in breeding plumage. Females and non-breeding males have a rather nondescript olive-green plumage. Formerly known as the white-collared seed-eater, the Morlet seed-eater is fairly common in grasslands and weedy fields. Breeding plumage males have a black cap and bold white collar. The blue-black Grassquit is common and widespread in weedy and brushy fields, farmland, and other open grass areas. The male is shown. The female is browner with streaking on the breast. The olive-crowned yellowthroat is common in wet, grassy fields and shrubbier areas along the Caribbean slope. The spectacular Montezuma or pendula is very common in forests, forest edges, and gardens. Displaying males make a loud gurgling song that sounds like water being poured from a bottle. If driving from San Jose to the Pacific coast, it is worth stopping at the downtown plaza in Orentina. If present, the local groundskeeper may point you in the direction of the handsome roosting black and white owl. This large owl is fairly uncommon in forests, plantations, gardens, and town parks. Located near the town of San Vito in southern Costa Rica, the 30-acre Wilson Botanical Garden is a great place to spend the entire day. Here we found the very large Crested Guan, which occurs mainly in protected forests. It is listed as near threatened due to suffering losses from deforestation and hunting. The gray-chested dove is common in humid forests, forest edges, and gardens. This terrestrial dove is heard more often than seen. The black-hooded ant shrike inhabits mature forests, forest edges, and second growth along the Pacific slope. It is endemic to Costa Rica and western Panama. This image is of a female. The male lacks the whitish streak on the head and breast. The fairly inconspicuous Mistletoe Tyrannulet is common and widespread in forests, second growth, and plantations. It was formerly called the poultry tyrannulet until it was recently split into 4 separate species. The distinctive rufous-breasted wren is common in forest edges, second growth, and gardens along the foothills of the Pacific slope. The boldly patterned riverside wren is common in dense understory of mature wet forests and forest edges. It is endemic to the southern Pacific coast of Costa Rica and western Panama. In Costa Rica, the small, compact finch-like, thick-billed euphonia is restricted to forest edges and gardens along the southern Pacific coast. The bay-headed tanager is common in humid forest, southern growth, and gardens. No other tanager has a reddish-brown head and a turquoise-blue underparts. The very distinctive golden-hooded tanager is common in humid tropical evergreen forest edges, plantations, and gardens. The Scarlet-rumped Tanager was formerly split into the Cherries tanager of the Pacific slope and the Passerini's tanager of the Caribbean slope. Both are now believed to be of the same species. even though the females look different. It is very common in humid tropical and foothill forests. The unmistakable and striking scarlet-thighed Dacnus inhabits foothills and lowland forest edges. The male is shown. The female has blue-green upper parts with a turquoise face and buffy underparts. The boldly patterned orange-billed sparrow can be found foraging on or close to the ground in dense, mature wet forests and tall second-growth woodlands. The streaked saltator is easily overlooked, as it typically forages in dense thickets and scrub in southwestern Costa Rica. If you like this video, please click the like button. Be sure to subscribe so you won't miss our next video. Birds of Costa Rican lowlands. Thank you for watching.